Saying no as an adult often feels like a trap. We are caught between the fear of disappointing someone and the resentment of abandoning ourselves, leaving us stuck in a rigid performance of compliance. To cope with this tension, the ego generates what psychology calls false strength. Because we lack a genuine internal boundary, we build an artificial one. This usually swings to one of two extremes. We either puff up, lashing out with defensive rage to keep people at bay, or we collapse, fading into the background to avoid the terror of a conflict. Both strategies fail. The aggressive posturing is brittle, and the passive collapse is agonizing. You survive the interaction, but you walk away feeling emotionally depleted and disconnected from who you actually are. We assume that protecting ourselves requires thicker armor and heavier walls. The diamond work offers a different framework. It identifies a specific innate essence within human nature called the Red Latifa, a natural wellspring of courage and vitality. This quality physically manifests as a distinct warmth on the right side of the chest and the lower body. It carries the specific energetic impulse, I can. Relational power relies on igniting this internal fire. You don't need to erect defensive shields if you are firmly anchored in your own vitality. Where did this innate vitality go? Watch a toddler exploring a room. You'll see a natural exuberance, but that energy is suddenly shut down. During a developmental stage called separation individuation, a child naturally tests their independence. They crawl away from their parents, exploring their own capability and physical limits. Well-meaning caregivers often react to this wild energy with anxiety. They shame the child for being too loud or punish them for taking risks, trying to keep them safe and manageable. The child learns to squash their own exuberance to maintain the caregiver's love. This early suppression leaves a psychological hole, a literal absence of strength and confidence in the body. The adult terror of setting a boundary is a repetition of this exact childhood survival mechanism. We remain subconsciously convinced that standing our ground will cause the people we rely on to abandon us. The inner critic, or superego, operates as an outdated software program enforcing this childhood rule. It monitors your behavior, criticizing and suppressing any spark of your natural fire to maintain the old status quo. When the superego manages your boundaries, the results are messy. You rely on cold detachment or violent bursts of anger to push people away. The Red Latifa offers what this tradition calls the lion heart. It is a state of open, warm, and resilient presence that doesn't need to attack in order to protect. Look at this relational dynamic. Relying on aggressive friction to tear out of an entanglement generates chaos. The Red Latifa allows you to cleanly separate. You state your truth without guilt or violence, staying connected to the other person without absorbing their emotional state. Defining where you end and another person begins eliminates enmeshment. You can engage with deep intimacy precisely because your individuality remains intact. You cannot resolve boundary issues through intellectual debate. Arguing with the inner critic simply feeds it energy. You must bypass the analytical mind. The diamond work anchors this process in the hara, a physical center of intelligence located a few fingers below the navel. The practice begins here. You deliberately drop your awareness out of those spinning mental narratives and anchor it into the physical sensations of the lower abdomen. At first, you will encounter the psychological hole. You have to physically tolerate the sensation of your own weakness, remaining still in that empty void without trying to compensate. By refusing to retreat, the state transforms. A spontaneous heat emerges, filling the belly and the right side of the chest with a vibrant, expanding energy that displaces the old weakness. Leaning directly into your deepest internal fear acts as a catalyst, calling forth the strength of your own being. As this internal architecture solidifies, your external life responds. You recover your appetite for adventure, and you can show up authentically in your relationships. You stop putting on a defensive performance. You are capable of standing your ground as a warm, distinct individual. These retreats are built for this transformation. They offer a guided environment designed to move you past the superego's interference and into direct somatic experience. You don't need to build a fortress to navigate life. The authentic strength required is a fire that has been burning inside you all along.